Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. Especially when we do a job that involves comparing with other people and sharing concept, or when we frequent environment in some way related to acquaintance, knowledge, or the exchange of ideas, we feel inadequate, small, not up to par. How many times has it happened to be in a discussion and not knowing what they were talking about, or at least not entirely? When they ask you a question, perhaps inherent to your work, and not knowing how to answer or being proven wrong, aped. How did you feel? Lower, not prepared enough. Bad feelings, right? Do you remember what your emotional and sometimes expressive reaction were? Anger, shame, unpreparedness, inability, incapacity, to the point of feeling inadequate, useless, desperate. Vittorino Andreoli said, I always saw what I had not expressed. I was stuck only what I should have explained. I always looked at the having to be and never the being, in a sort of pauperism guided by the feeling of inadequacy and failure. In the meantime, do not feel alone, and the only ones who have experienced this sensation and situations. Everyone has been there and does, even celebrities. Someone speaking in third person but himself said he actually felt more miserable than anyone else he was intimate with. The reason was that he did not consider himself up to the noble task facing him. What was the use of everyone refuting it? His sense of inadequacy, objectively unjustified, tormented him relentlessly, often robbing him of the peace of mind necessary for a quiet research. Albert Einstein. The root of the problem is always the same: perspective. In this case, we place ourselves at the center of the eternal inner conflict that grips most people, not loving to be observed and compared, while we do ourselves. Our sense of inadequacy comes from the comparison that we ourselves make with others, because we continue to judge ourselves based on the level of proximity or distance from another person's knowledge. We are all ignorant and wise at the same time, but not in the same way. Each of us has knowledge, but does not know everything. The allologist does not exist. And everyone is ignorant in some things, but does not ignore everything. Not even the nothingologist exists. By shifting our attention to what we know, we realize that we can talk about something, and we can thus give ourselves a perspective direction more prone to expression and not to shame. Maybe we might even discover that the little or much we know is for someone else an enlightenment because they didn't know nothing about it. Each of us in his life develops through study, experience, comparison a certain level of knowledge which is right to share, just as it is right to quietly say that we don't know a topic. There is always time to learn, as long as there is the desire to do it. Being ready and feeling adequate, on the other hand, requires clarity and awareness with ourselves. We remind that as far as we can project outside, all the sensation, the emotions will remain inside in a quantity proportional to the projections made. It is not what you know that makes you a wise man, but the level of awareness and the genuine desire to wanting to share. It is not knowledge itself that creates beauty, but the fact of sharing it. By giving people the power of share, we are making the world more transparent, said Mark Zuckerberg. Bye and see you next.